Wren versus U.S. dictates that anybody operating a motor vehicle that commits a motor vehicle violation under state code, local code, or even anything else is eligible to be stopped and must produce a driver's license. Anybody that doesn't produce a driver's license can be placed under arrest for no operator's license on person. I'll cite you penal code after penal code after penal code. I can cite you case law under state, local, federal, whatever you want, anything you want. Wren versus U.S. is a thing that applies to all motor vehicle codes in the entire United States. You must have a driver's license, you must have your vehicle registered, and you cannot operate a motor vehicle anywhere in the country unless it is all properly registered, properly insured, if that state requires insurance, period.
In this video, a man and a police officer clash over the right to travel versus driving laws. Who's right? Here's the interaction.
License with you?
No, I'm not driving, so I don't need a license.
You are driving.
Driving is a commercial term under U.S. Supreme Court case. Penhall is one. Only when you're carrying passengers or property for hire is someone driving. So I'm not driving, I'm traveling privately. I'm not carrying passengers or property for hire. Therefore, I don't need a license under U.S. Supreme Court cases. Penhall is one. There's many more that say the same thing.
All right. Can you step out the vehicle for me? Do you have any weapons or anything to get on you?
No, I got a knife in here.
Okay, don't reach for it. Can I have you come over this way?
Yeah, I'm grabbing a key here.
Is there if I search you real quick?
Well, I'm not authorizing, but I mean, if you're gonna
I mean,
tell me I have to,
I'm not telling you you have to. I'm just asking yes or no. Can I search?
enforce my right, I'm not saying yes. If you have no reason to do all this.
Okay, I do have a reason to stop you. Your moped's not or doesn't have a registration sticker display. So that's the reason for the stop today, okay?
Well, like I said, so that's why I'm in the process. I'm gonna be getting a class action going to make that clear in the state laws. Understand, there's an assumption under maybe state law, but see, they don't, like I said, they don't make it clear though in state law that the U.S. Supreme Court case says this. So that needs to be cleared up, and I'm working on doing this with all the United States. I already called Jeffrey Feiger's firm to see if they're going to do this. I want them to do this so this shit won't be happening. See, this shit shouldn't be happening because, like I said, the U.S. Supreme Court already made it clear. It's a human right to travel. Okay, so as part of our human right to travel, they already made it clear we do not need a license, we don't need registration, we don't need insurance, we need super cars, all this. So, but it just needs to be made clear, so please understand this clearly so people won't be stopped and harassed and bothered with this when it's clearly a human right to travel. It's only when, for commercial purposes, do we need a license. Like when you're working as an employee for an employer, that's only when you need a driver's license. That's clear if you look at Black's Law Dictionary. The definition of driver makes that clear in the Black's Law Dictionary in the U.S. Supreme Court case. The cases.
Yeah. Do you have an ID with you?
Yeah.
Okay, see that?
Yeah. Must I?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm requiring
I don't want to, but I don't want to, refuse neither one hand, but.
Okay. Okay, if you would just come over here and see on the front bumper here. Woody, can you stay with him? He also says he has a fanny pack.
Okay.
Just for self-defenses and the job I work on technical boxing.
What I'm going to have you do, just so that no one rear ends our car, since you're sitting at the front of it, I don't want you to get hurt. Why don't you sit down on the curb? Because if you get rear-ended, if our car gets rear-ended, you're going to get killed.
Yeah.
Why don't you sit down for a second? That way you're off the roadway.
Okay, I'll just stand. That's okay.
That's fine.
All right.
So do you know what anybody on here right there?
No, I don't, because...
Okay.
Then... Maybe, what am I showing? I don't know, I think underneath here something, some type of dentation might be the metal right there, something in there.
Okay.
Certainly not as filled as mine has been. I've been in prison 24 years and sitting in the garden. It's an 87 model, but something under there, see?
Do you know how many cc's it is?
It's 49 or 50, one of it.
49 or 50. Okay. Alright. Could you have them just stand over there?
Yeah. Come on back here, sir. What's your first name?
Eric?
Eric? All right. You said you've been to prison before?
Yeah.
How long ago was that you got out?
It was over 2 years ago or so.
2 years ago out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
So-
for nonviolent stuff, right? Yeah.
All right.
I was a jailhouse lawyer, and that's why I know a lot about this
Okay.
law.
So you're actually incorrect. I'm one of the training officers here, and I'm extremely knowledgeable in laws. In fact, I can cite case laws where most police officers will not. What you're talking about is not a case law. The most recent U.S. Supreme Court, and you all know that U.S. Supreme Court is the rule of the land.
Top dog, right?
Wren versus U.S. Wren versus U.S. dictates that anybody operating a motor vehicle that commits a motor vehicle violation under state code, local code, or even anything else is eligible to be stopped and must produce a driver's license. Anybody that doesn't produce a driver's license can be placed under arrest for no operator's license on person. I'll cite you penal code after penal code after penal code. I can cite you case law under state, local, federal, whatever you want, anything you want. Wren versus U.S. is a thing that applies to all motor vehicle codes in the entire United States. You must have a driver's license, you must have your vehicle registered, and you cannot operate a motor vehicle anywhere in the country unless it is all properly registered, properly insured, if that state requires insurance. Period. End of story.
Okay, now
Wren versus U.S. W-H-R-E-N versus U.S.
even the term motor. Okay, I haven't read that case, but the term I already know they all use the same.
You can't use a dictionary.
Motor.
You cannot use a dictionary.
Not regular
You cannot
dictionary,
use a
that's
dictionary.
all. Black's Law dictionary. That's what the courts go by.
You cannot use the dictionary. All case laws define in the case themselves what a motor vehicle is, what a driver's license is. It's all defined in case laws. You can't use some random dictionary that you have.
This Black's Law and Bouvier's Law Dictionary says what I said about the definition of a driver.
Doesn't matter what
strictly
black.
commercial, and even the motor vehicle, that term in itself, that's strictly a commercial. It's only when you're doing a commercial as an employee.
No.
It's
No.
yeah. That's what the U.S. Supreme Court in Penhollow. Look up Penhollow, and it says that
Wren
there's
versus
many more
U.S.
cases.
defines what motor vehicles are.
It's strictly commercial.
No.
Yeah, I already know. It's
No. You're wrong. Okay.
I know I'm not-
And so what I'm trying to tell you is that I want you to be educated on the law. And it's not too often that I run into
Always
people
listen
that do
to
cite
myself.
case law,
Right.
but you're incorrect in it. You're incorrect. Okay. I don't mind I tell people the law all the time. I like doing it, especially when someone's educated on it. But right now you're not educated correctly on it. So I'd rather have this conversation so that you, from going forward, know the law, cite the case. It's perfect because we all got to abide by the same thing. Wren versus U.S.
I'll
You
show
got
you
it.
this.
You
Site,
got
I
it.
got it download. I downloaded on my Facebook page. Watch. See Facebook. Okay, there's me, right?
Yeah.
Now, boom, look. Where'd it go? I downloaded some of these videos and these case all these sites where they say straight from the U.S. Supreme Court. Now these are my downloaded videos. I'm trying to find it where it says specifically that the whole driving thing and the motor vehicle, that's a term that's strictly commercial only, because it's a human right to travel. It's under the Due Process Clause of Michigan Federal Constitution. And the U.S. Supreme Court already said states have no right to dictate requiring for a license. It's part of the liberty, the right to life, liberty, of property without due process.
Versus U.S.
I never read that one, but
well, you need to read it before you start citing incorrect
but I know it ain't no
cases.
different from the rest of the cases that already made the law clear that we
Yes,
don't
it
need.
is.
That we
Yes,
don't
it
need a
is.
license when it's non-commercial. Only when you're an employee do you need a license.
I will spell the case for you. W-H-R-E-N versus U.S.
W-H.
R-E-N versus U.S. Wren versus
I'll
U.S.
check it out, but
Okay. So that's why we are stopping you. You violated a Michigan Motor Vehicle Code law, and that's why we're having contact with you. Okay?
but
You are required-
I'm in my rights to travel under the U.S. Supreme Court case law.
You are required by state law, which is governed under Wren versus U.S., to have your vehicle properly registered, because the state of Michigan is allowed to create laws as every state is allowed to create their own laws as long as it doesn't conflict with federal law. And the state of Michigan, just like every other state in this union, has required a registration for all vehicles. You must register your vehicle, regardless of whether it's commercial or private. You must register your motor vehicle.
The reason why they didn't, and the U.S. Supreme Court is writing this because, see, it's just as a money thing. People want to make money off our right. They're trying to turn our right to travel into a privilege, but it's not. See, right to travel. So the term motor vehicle means every description of carriage or other contrivance, whatever, propelled or drawn by mechanical power and used for commercial purposes, commercial, keyword, on the highways, and transportation of passengers of property or cargo. The term used for commercial purposes means the carriage of persons or property for any fare, fee, rate, charge, consideration, or directly or indirectly in connection with any business, or other undertaking intended for profit.
I'm familiar with what you're saying.
That's the federal statute, section 31. Not that's more.
With
I'm
what
not done.
saying.
That's the federal statute. We're going to go more.
Look up Wren versus U.S.
But first, let me go on right. This is, again, this is license. Look, travel by right. No one may be required, this is the U.S. Supreme Court talking.
You're not going to convince me.
No one may be required to obtain a license in order to speak. Thus, the state can no more license the appellant's right to travel in his automobile. See, automobile is different than motor vehicle. Automobile is when your personal, you know what I mean, vehicle, not motor vehicle, which is commercial only. So automobile, see, it's these word games they're tricking us on, or they're not making clear, and a lot of us don't know. So automobile, then it could
versus U.S. doesn't make it clear.
Then it could license his right to print or to speak, for they are all inalienable rights. That means can be taken away. Thomas versus Collins, U.S. Supreme Court, 1944. Okay, see? So the license to, see, right to travel. And that's not the only one, there's more here.
So when Wren versus U.S. is decided after that, it trumps it.
Wren didn't, no, there's more that after this. Don't believe me, there's more U.S. after this. I'm trying to find it. There's more, I know.
Until you read Wren versus U.S., it's not going to mean anything.
Wren never said the human right to travel has been took. I bet you that. I know it has.
You don't know anything about what Wren says.
It hasn't, but I know it hasn't because it's part of a constitutional right. Like I said, the right to life and liberty, that liberty they're talking about, that's just part of the liberty, the right to travel from here to there. Not be dictated, oh, you got to get license. We want to make money.
When
some
a traffic
scumbags.
stop is affected, what amendment is it under?
14th, under the federal Michigan Constitution, due process.
Search and seizure.
No, the right to life and liberty without due process of law. That falls on the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution.
You're right, on a traffic stop, you're seized under the 4th Amendment. When you have a traffic stop, it's the 4th Amendment.
No, see, I'm saying the 14th Amendment dictates the right to the people have life, liberty, or property, okay? That liberty, separated liberty, that freedom, that's where the right to travel falls under that. To travel. Yes, then there's also a human right under the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. To travel, not being dictated by a human. It's like, you can't license you to walk from here to here.
That's true.
Would that be wrong? That's why, because it's the human right to travel.
No, that's true. Yeah, you are correct on that.
Just like a motorcycle, a car, none of it, because...
That's wrong.
No, because that's trying to turn a right into a privilege, and therefore just some scumbags make money off of things. They're making millions of dollars. Oh, get a license, registration, insurance. Why? Because some scumbag wants to make money. Yeah, that's all that's going on. But think how wrong that is, because someone is trying to dictate you, or... You know what I mean? To turn a right into a privilege and make money off your right to travel. That's
I'm not going to debate on what the intent is behind it, because I'm not diving into that. What I'm diving into is I enforce the will of the people. The will of the people have governed that this law states that you must have a motor vehicle registered.
That's only when you're driving. But driving is only when it's commercial. It's only when it can be. Not when you're like me. I'm not driving. I'm not commercial. I'm in my right to travel privately, non-commercially. Sure I am. The U.S. Supreme Court said it. So remember, this was supposed to follow it.
Wren versus U.S.
They didn't say. I bet you got to look at the definition. They said. Did they say they only have to do it when you're driving, right? Yes or no?
I've read it.
Okay, you got to look in the term.
I'm encouraging you to read it.
Driving it. I will read. I read all of them.
Until you do, we can.
But
this
I know it
conversation's a moot conversation.
But I know. See, what you're probably not understanding is that definition they're using driving. Then you got to look at the term what driving means and what motor vehicle. See, I just showed you what motor vehicle means under the federal statute.
Right.
18 U.S.C. Section 31.
You're citing older case laws.
This is a federal statute.
You're citing older case laws.
Well, that wasn't. That don't mean it hasn't been overruled though. It's still current case laws now that say the same thing.
Wren versus U.S.
Number 39.
It hasn't overruled nothing. I'm telling you because. Because they would violate the human right to travel. They even did it.
Yes,
They're not
it has.
going to. I know it. No.
Here's an example of it.
Right.
Just like any other case law, like when segregation was allowed, and then there was case law that was generated that overruled it because it was the most recent case law. Then that case law overtook everything.
Well,
when
just
Wren
because
versus U.S. overtakes a previous case law, the case laws you're citing, then your case law has now become a moot point.
No, listen. Just because there's a newer case law, it only supersedes it and makes it no good if they overrule it on that area of law. But just
Trying to debate case law with me.
I studied law 26 years.
Oh, there's no way. This guy's like literally, he has it memorized. He has all like.
He got some stuff memorized, I see, but he's wrong in saying just because the case is like this 1944 case, I decided I have a right to travel, right? Okay. It's a human right, and I just showed him 1944 U.S. Supreme Court case.
What I come to?
And he said he just says some
He
other
says he has the right to travel based on a case on a statute from 1944, but I said Wren versus U.S. has trumped that.
No, not the statutes in 1944. The statute, I don't know when it was decided, but it's an 18 section 31.
Yeah.
That makes it clear the motor vehicle is strictly, that's a term that's commercial only. I don't know when that was decided. It's the...
Wren. We're standing here. We got time.
Right.
My partner's doing stuff. Look it up. Wren versus U.S. I told you how to spell it. Read it. It's a long decision. Yep. Look it up.
But I know there's several other U.S. Supreme Court that's current anyways. Like
If Wren was not the most current one, I would cite the most current one. And if it changes Wren, then I wouldn't even cite Wren. Wren is the most current one.
Well, it might be current, but you got to understand the area law that you decide.
It is the applicable one.
All right, sir. I'm going to get you on your way here. You get your citations. I think we can both agree there was some parts of the law we disagreed on, and maybe some parts maybe we did agree on. Like I asked to search you said no, and I respected that, right? Okay, so you're getting a citation for driving unsuspended. You're getting a citation for registration violation. Moped of this size has to have a moped registration. In Michigan, you only have to have a moped registration. It's like $15 at the Secretary of State, and you actually aren't required to have insurance on a moped.
I'll win this in court. Remember I told you now I will win this in court because the U.S. Supreme Court supports me. So hopefully you guys don't bother people about this no more, but I will win in court. Because the U.S. Supreme Court supports that I have the right to travel. We all do in our cars. We need to stop paying for insurance for a car. If we're not traveling.
I understand your argument. I just disagree with it. Right. All right? Since you are getting a citation, then you have this incident documented for yourself. You got to take care of this within 14 days at the 19th District Court of Dearborn. That goes the phone number right there. Legally, I have to tell you not to drive. I'm not going to stick around here.
I'm not driving. Driving is only a commercial term. And that's what we got to get clear on. Driving is commercial only when you're an employee working for an employer. The U.S. Supreme Court's cases made this clear. This is why, look, I'm going to get an injunction in court where they're going to order all police officers meet me in harassment. This is why I'm already in the process of doing this, so I don't be harassed. I already had this in place. I already contacted Judge Flag, like I said. There's been an injunction I'm going to get. All the United States cops will not harass people about the right to travel. They're supposed to be asked, are you driving commercially or are you traveling non-commercially? I'm not traveling. I'm traveling non-commercially. Okay, and I'm not supposed to therefore not ask about your ID, driver license, none of that. So I'm going to get an injunction to make this clear in conformity with the U.S. Supreme Court case law. And yeah.
Did you just get out, or was it a while?
No, it's been like 2 years or something.
Okay.
I've been out for a while, but this is why I was.
I know. Probably one of the reasons you're probably a little bit more frustrated is like your driving status is suspended, which makes it tougher.
I'll hire a lawyer actually to go ahead.
I don't know if you're that interested, but they did change some of the stuff recently to make it easier to get licenses back. I mean, it's
probably why people in the channel like obviously maybe I don't know. But
so they changed some of it. You might want to look into that. Maybe you're not interested in that, but that's one option. And I do understand your arguments. Just let me finish what I gotta say, and then me and you both can leave this situation. Okay? I have to advise you not to drive that, and now we're going to leave. Okay?
But no other mode of road transportation. I go to work all the way to Detroit. That's ridiculous. I'm 47. I'm being harassed by this by but that's what I'm saying. I know I'm really within my right, but that's why I'm going to clear this up with the court. have the court order you guys and everyone, all the police officers.
You do have your day in court.
Right.
Your radio.
Right. So, but
But
like I said, I just want to ask you guys look
Car
at the
2,
word
can you show
driving,
me
look under
on a
black
follow-up at
lights.
1421 Riverside,
And
checking
I don't
for the
know,
vehicle.
Statutes might make it clear too, but driving is strictly commercial. It's only when you drive. It doesn't apply to someone unless they are employed as employee commercial.
I understand your
So therefore,
argument.
I just asked you to look up Black's Law Dictionary and determine.
Why are we still having this debate right now?
I was talking to him, debating and having fun. The time that he was doing his thing so that he could use
Then the huddle was
his thing
one, plus they
uninterrupted.
just showed him.
I'll look it up. I mean, I'm
But
not
I
going
just
to
showed
Now
promise I'll
it's
agree with you.
look at this. Just look around. There's like bugs like this. It's crazy.
Oh, I know. One got in my car and I had
I
to.
understand this, and you guys don't care about it, but it is really the law. That's what I'm saying. This is why I was going to wait until I hired a lawyer to get my license and all this, so I don't have to deal with this bullshit, right? Then I learned the law on this after that. I said, well, you know what? Well, after that, I shouldn't be scared.
Hey, let's go pull over that patrol car.
Hold on.
But at the same time, I want to lighten you guys on this, but
You guys gotta run.
I showed him.
Ready? House on fire.
You can win $1,000 a day for life.
Wait, every single day? Yeah. So I start liking Mondays.
Get $1,000 every day for life.
And TGIN, baby, and every other day too.
Daily and online at oilg.ca.
Prices are always low. Save $1 on pickle juice, frozen entrees, now only 88 cents. Walmart. Save money, live better. See flyer for details.
Country's innovation. Transform your bedroom to a sleep oasis.
Designed
with massage features and a bedroom.
Okay, we're en route for the fire. Woo!